Here I sit at the side of a graveyard, pondering the days of our lives, how they come and go, some quicker than others. And wondering, how do we make our mark in this world? We have come to Russia hoping to make a life and a future for our kids. And it seems like everything that we try to do just backfires on us. And it's been very challenging. It's been really challenging. And I was told it would be challenging. I was warned it would be challenging. But if we can get through it all, it will be worth it. And that is our plan. So the first place that the Lord planted us, it seemed like such an amazing blessing. We were with a Baptist pastor. Now, mind you, we're not we're not Baptists, and we're not Orthodox either. But I do believe that we do everything we can to follow the Lord, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So, anyway, we felt that the Lord brought us to Russia. He brought us out of the judgments that are coming against America. But here's something. Just because you leave a place doesn't mean that the problems aren't going to follow you. It doesn't mean that the judgments of Christ won't still follow you. It's like Jonah. He tried to run from Christ. Now, me, I'm trying to run to Christ, not from him. And he says to leave everything and come and follow me. So we did. We did. We left everything behind, our family, our friends, our businesses, our life. Everything we knew to come. But I still believe that in a small way that the Lord has still brought judgments and suffering to us. Yes, there have been blessings, but it's getting harder. See, when we first got there to that Baptist farm, we were kind of, still in a panic, trying to transfer our wealth and a little bit that we came with. And his son, had a business. And he said, I'm going to introduce you to my son, and my son can help you to exchange your rubles and your little bit of crypto that you have, and he can get it all put from dollars to rubles really easily. He's the financial advisor and part of a company that does small investments. They buy cars and trucks, and they're very connected to other countries, and they bring them in and they resell them here. And so he's got access to a lot of money, and it won't be a problem because they use all kinds of currencies. They should be able to do it within a couple of days. So, fearfully, because God puts fear in us if something is wrong. So, anyway, um, we gave him our money and we allowed him to take that and exchange it. And he did it. He did do it. He did it quickly within a couple of days. And then he said, well, since you guys can't work here, I would like to help you some more. And if you will let me use your money for a short time and invest, I will give you a great return. And you'll have enough on a monthly basis to live on your money, live on your interest. It would be over 100,000 rubles a month, which is like equivalent to a little over $1,000 a month. And this would be a way for you guys to, just earn some income, let your money be safe in a company that whenever you're ready to bring it out, you need it back, you need to do what you need to do, it'll be no problem. This is a small amount for us, so no problem. Anyway, so me personally, I didn't want to do it. I didn't care. I said, look, man, we don't know these people. We don't know anything about them. Yeah, they're a pastor and a pastor's son, but honestly, we don't know them at all. How do we know he's a pastor? Well, it just so happens that some other people had come and said, yeah, we know him, we vouch for him. Who are you and why are you here? And, they wanted to meet the American family. So, anyway, biggest freaking mistake of our life. It has ruined everything, every plan that we had here to buy a home. And in fact, we did it because some people that we were working with told us that we wouldn't be able to buy a house until spring. Nobody's going to help us buy anything until spring because it was the winter and all the holidays were happening and nobody's really selling homes right now. You'll get a better price in the summer. So what were we to do with our money until then? I guess we could have put it in the bank and let it just sit there safely. Would have been a great idea, right? Would have been a smart decision, but that wasn't the decision that my husband wanted. So, with all the fear and trembling in me, we signed what we thought was a contract and gave the kid our money. That was December 30th, 2023. Now, here we are, September 21st, 2024. Still basically begging for them to give us our money back. Yeah, we got a lawyer involved. That didn't help. So we got another lawyer involved. And it doesn't seem to be helping either. Of course, he hasn't really done anything yet, but by his words and his own thoughts and ideas, it doesn't sound like that's going to work out. He's going to try to do the same thing that the other lawyer did, which was say, look, you need to give these people their money back. When are you going to do it? Huh? Mr. Nice Guy? When are you going to give this good family, this good American family, their money back? So, we've sat quietly for many months now, patiently waiting to get our money back. And everybody says, why don't you buy a house? Why don't you buy a car? Why don't you buy these things that will help you here? Well, that's the reason why. Because he has taken He's taken our wealth from us, and he's not returning it. So we stayed on the pastor's farm, and he was charging us just for electricity. In fact, he said, we didn't have to pay anything, but out of the goodness of our own heart, we said, look, let us pay at least for the electricity, because that is, something that you will accumulate. But it turns out he was charging us 5 times the amount of the bill or more. Like, let's just say that the electric bill was $35 a month. It went from like $15 a month, or 1,500 rubles a month, to like 3,000, 4,000 in the cold months. We had to have the heat on. We installed wood stoves into the cabins we were staying in. We used little portable, heaters to stay warm in the really cold months this last winter, and we got through it. And he was charging me, one month he charged me $200,000, it was equivalent to $267 in America. So I don't really have my exchanges really good here yet, but what would that be, like 260,000 rubles or something? So turns out he was ripping us off. And I started questioning, why is the electric bill so high here, Vitaly? I thought it was cheaper. Everything's cheaper in Russia. It shouldn't be that much. So I said, I want to see the electric bill. He said, well, I don't get an electric bill. And I said, well, you get some kind of statement that tells you what to pay. He said, well, I get a year-end statement. And I said, well, I want to see it. I want you to go to the company and I want to see what they're charging you. So got the bill, saw the credits, or the debits, they said, the charges, the fee. And each and every one of them was nothing more than like $35 a month. And I paid him equivalent to like $560, $70, something. I don't remember the total, but and his fee was like 100 and something. It was 5 times the amount. So not only did his son steal my money, but then he's ripping me off on the electric bill. Wow. So finally, we started thinking about looking for a place to live and rent and get our business started, because we finally got refugee status. And we thought, well, let us go and go find a place. Let's just get our business started somewhere. Let's try something. Nothing here is helping us. We're just wasting away our time. So we went to Kolomna to look for a place to live and check it out, see if it would be a city that would work for us. And right after that, we had a meeting with our immigration team. I won't mention any names of who they are. Some people know who is helping us and some don't. But they had been there basically around the same day that we were there, and they said, hey, there's this guy. We went to the vice mayor's office, and there's a guy who owns a farm, and he is willing to take you guys in. You all have a place to live and a nice house. You can both work and have an income coming in, and so we went and checked that one out. And we thought it was a really beautiful place. The house was nice. We'd have an income coming in. We could try getting this money from the kid who stole our money. I thought, okay, well, we'll stay here until we can get our money, and then we'll buy a house. So we committed to a 1-year contract. There was no actual contract, though. It's just a verbal agreement. We asked for a contract. We asked for a contract that would show us our hours and our pay and what we were committing ourselves to. And he said, oh, no, we'll do it the Russian way. You don't need a contract. He said that, here you'll work, you'll have these responsibilities, Leo. You'll have to do all these chores, and there'll be other people there helping you, don't worry. You'll work together and get these chores done, and once you're done with your chores, you make your own schedule. Just get the stuff done and make sure that you guys work together. Okay. And I asked, what would my schedule be? And they said, well, you'll help in the hotel or the restaurant, wherever we kind of need you, and you'll basically work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. Fair enough. And they said some days will be long and some days will be shorter. Just as long as you guys get whatever you need done. Okay, I can work with that. So, 2 fairly flexible schedules. And we told them, look, we're going to have to have days off at some points we'll have to go to Moscow and handle our immigration team meetings. We'll have camera crews probably wanting to come and film us. We'll have to get our kids in school, and we need, we're going to need some time to deal with all these things. So, and we'll need some help. They said that, they'll be happy to help us get the kids in school, and they would take the kids to and from school every day because, there's no transportation really out there. So they would take our children to school with their son, and it'd be great. So school started, and had just started when we moved there, actually, and they were supposed to help deal with that situation, but nothing ever did happen. Nothing happened. A week went by, and the kids still were not in school. They had spoken with a guy, a person, I don't know who it was actually, that would help tutor them, and I saw no signs of activity of that happening. A week went by, and Leo said, look, I need to get a day off so we can handle these situations. And they turned and said, no, you don't get days off. You don't get days off. He put in 8 days of work, between 13 and 14 hours a day, starting at 5:30 in the morning, and he would get off anywhere between 6:30 and 8. I think was one of the nights he came rolling in. It was after 8 o'clock. And they said, if you want a day off, your son will work in your place. Your oldest son can work for you. I said, Ian, no, that's not going to work out. That's not going to work for us. Oh, and by the way, they wanted my sons, my 2 older sons, who are 14 and now 17. 14-year-old will be 15 actually on Monday. They wanted them to work, and they did some help, and they paid them. And they said, well, if your sons will work for us, they can make 300 rubles an hour. And my son said, no, we're not going to work that cheap of labor. No way. That's really cheap labor. If you guys want to think that that's good labor for a kid, no, it's not a fair wage. My kids work really hard. They would work circles around the people on that farm. And my kids said, well, we'll work for 500 to 700 rubles an hour. That's a fair wage. In fact, they had said that my oldest son would work as the gardener and get paid maybe 70,000 rubles a month. But he sat around waiting for a week to get that job started, and it never did happen. When they asked for it, they said, no, we'll just pay you by the hour. And so all these things that seemed good turned into kind of a nightmare situation pretty quickly. The guy didn't want to talk to us anymore. The lady started not talking to us, and we quit. We quit the day when they said my son would have to work. Then they said, well, then you need to leave. We said, okay, well, we will leave as fast as we can, as soon as we can find a place to live and a place that will register us. We can't be out on the streets. And they kept pressuring us and pressuring us. Leo finally had to go to the police, file a harassment statement, and explain the situation, and they gave us 3 more days to get out. And in the meantime, of course, I was doing everything I could to find a place on Avito and Sion and talking to people. And there was one place, literally one place, that said that they would register us. And it was a summer house. It didn't have running water, didn't have a toilet, didn't have a kitchen, didn't have any of that stuff. He said he would put it in, but it would take a month. But it was too small, really. I mean, I know you guys are used to living in these small, cramped spaces, which I give you honor for that, but our family isn't used to that, and it would have been a disaster, besides the fact that it looked like the house was about to crack into 2. It was splitting, and the front end was angling down towards a cliff. I was like, I can't do this. I've lived off the grid before without running water, without electricity. I had a generator. Don't have a generator now. But I just said, no, I can't do this. I can't do it to this degree. So after that, we did get a hold of some people, and a lot of people were trying their best to help us. And Father Joseph Gleason, actually, who's been here a long time in Russia, spoke with a local church here who has given us some places to live for a while until we can find something else. We really have to be out of here before winter hits, because the cabins really aren't suitable for winter living. And it's really just a summer church camp, cabins. So we're thankful that we have something. And we're looking for a place in either Rostov-Alinki, but it seems like there's a lot of opportunity happening in Nizhny Novgorod. Again, our biggest issue, our biggest problem is that we can find places to live that is affordable and worth living in, but nobody will register us. So they would rather have their places empty and vacant than to rent to refugees. We can't register ourselves yet because we're refugees, and I'm not sure why we can't, but this is the most difficult issue for a lot a lot of people coming to Russia. It's a huge problem. We're not the only ones who have had to deal with this registration issue. I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. Don't know where to go. And we're desperately crying out to God to help us. We want to go to Nizhny Novgorod because it's a bigger city, and we have a business we want to start somehow. Could start selling online or something, but right now I'm in an area where it's kind of remote. I don't even know if there's a bus to get to town. I saw a bus stop. I don't know how often or if even the bus runs by here anymore. I don't mean to seem ungrateful or unthankful, because I am thankful and I am grateful to be somewhere. But this is our story. This is our story. We're living it. Anyway, many of you kind of are wondering what's happening, why we haven't bought a house, why we haven't bought a car, why we are in this situation, and now you know. I wanted to write to Putin, and maybe we could get this new status, this new decree, and get our RVP, but even that, I still don't think that will help us as far as the registration goes. I don't know. I don't know all the laws, ins and outs yet, but I know it. I think other people have had the same problem still with registration. Even though you get your temporary resident permit, you still have to be registered by somebody else. You can't do it yourself until you're a citizen. We came here for safety and refugee, a place to rebuild like people do all the time. But we have had one challenge after another. So, can't go back. Not going back to America. I trust that the Lord will work everything out. But I want you to know, we're not giving up. And I wanted you to know what happened. So God bless Russia. And if anybody can share this with Putin, and if he can help us somehow get our money back, everything will be fine. Thank you for your support. And if anybody does want to help, I'll give you my phone number, and if there's any financial help or anything, I'm not asking for it. But if anybody wants to, there's ways of transferring bank to bank, I guess. That's all I can say. I don't have anything else set up. I do have a Boosty account, but I haven't completed it. I don't know how to. I need to take time and get that all set up too, I guess. I don't know how it works. But again, I just want to thank you guys for your care and support. Until then, thank you. Till next time. Пока.